What's going on, guys? So today on this Shoky Quickie, we're taking a look at something new from the Bandai Time Machine Nation's FiguartsZERO, sorry, Bandai Namco, because we're now Bandai Namco everywhere. And it is from the FiguartsZERO line of Demon Slayer statues, and we do have the new AGATSUMA ZENITSU, or ZENITSU AGATSUMA. And this is the Thunderclap and Flash statue, which is pretty awesome. Like, it's basically his one move. You know, if you follow the show at all, you know how badass it is when he uses this. Okay, so this is a new one. We have looked at the previous Zenitsu statue from Figuarts before, and yes, we will be doing a comparison. So you do get this all right here. Looks nice. You got the official holographic dealie right there, as though that hasn't been copied, you know. The problem is that it's so easy to, I say easy, to KO Bandai stuff. All right, so you got the window there. You got the window on the top. You got the window on this side. Zenitsu, Agatsuma, however you want to say it. And of course you see cut around here. All right, so we come around to the back here, and you got some nice close-ups of the shot there. And then you have this, which just looks phenomenal. So, I mean, if you're going to do a background, there is no better background than the sky with the moon and stuff like that for Zenitsu, because it works for at least that one scene where he did the thing. And of course, you have the Definitely in America Now sticker, ages 15 plus. Hey, right in the middle of that, Bandai Namco, because that's what it all is now. I already said age 15 plus, so it is what it is. Small parts, not for children under 3 years old. I wouldn't argue there's small parts on this. Like, there's nothing that comes off. I mean, unless you try hard. I don't know. All right, you have a really cool image of it on the side here, and let's check underneath. And yes, you do get a cool image here. So once again, like we talked with the last statue, if you watch that review, please go watch that review. This can be shown off in store in multiple ways, you know, depending on how you want to shelf it. You can be like that, be like that. I mean, you can just straight up be like that, or even like that if you want. You know, nobody's going to care if it's on the backside, though. But all right, so let's go ahead and get this box out of here and pull out the turntable and check this guy out. The new lightning boy. Little yellow lightning boy. Pikachu boy, as it were. All right, guys, you know what time it is. It's turntable time. All right, where's the button here? Gotta click it. And also, I don't think he's centered. Here, there we go. All right, so this new Zenitsu. Picked it up at BBTS, and it already makes me regret buying the first one that I did, you know, earlier this year or last year. I think it was last year. The old one, the sculpt is good, but the lightning effects are not. This one, on the other hand, I really do dig, especially the mix of blue and yellow lightning with the metallic paint on there as well to really kind of make it pop from different angles. And the only thing that's a little weird is that, you know, he hasn't necessarily drawn his sword just yet, but he's pulling it. So for those who don't know, haven't seen the series, Zenitsu has one attack, and it's the Thunderclap and Flash. It just comes down to how much of it he uses, so to speak. Like, you know, you can be like times 10. It's like Kaioken. You know, I only got the one move, but I can use it up to however many amplifications, essentially. Not to mention Zenitsu's own character, where he basically only functions as a real hero in his sleep. Okay, he's such a dork in that manner. So, yes, there is a very, very expensive version of a Zenitsu statue that is available that I would love to have. I don't make that kind of money. It ain't gonna happen, unfortunately, but I can definitely make do with something like this. This is right up my alley. It looks really, really cool. So we'll take a look at it up close, and then we will compare it to the previous one in the line, and then that's when I start wondering whether or not I'm gonna keep the original one, you know. It's kind of the hard thing about buying multiple versions of the same character is sometimes you got to part with the old one. So let's take it off the turntable and check it out. Okay, so first off, it's yellow, which is always wreaks havoc with my phone here. So let me see if I can tweak the settings just a hair to try to get it more realistic. Somewhere in there. Because otherwise he's like super yellow. That's not too bad. Somewhere in there. Alright, either way. It is also very bright. Hold on, let me... That's actually better. Let's do that. Okay. So, head sculpt looks great. He does have his orange and blonde hair, even though the funny thing is, that's not his hair color. Like, he is actually, if I recall, straight up like brunette until he got struck by lightning in a tree. And that's, kind of the end of his backstory that we've seen so far. He is wearing his, like, family robe, so to speak, with the yellow, orange, with the triangles, although there's, like, a buttload of them. Like, we'll compare it to the old one, and some of the patterning is, like, some of it's in a definite line, other times it's just kind of random, at best, you know? And, he does clearly have his eyes closed, because he's asleep. Alright, so we do have his actual Demon Slayer outfit here. Let me aim down just a little. And you can see the airbrushing, the lighter tan over the dark brown, almost black, but his does come across as more brown. Some people's comes across as like a greenish color. His is definitely more of a brown. And I don't know if it's a level thing or just a coloration. I'm not sure. And then we can see his sword here, which does have all the triangles here on the guard, which is cool. It does have triangles on the handle, which is a pretty cool way to wrap it, if we're honest here. It does have a couple little tassels hanging off the end of it, and it is completely sheathed at this moment. Though the weird part is his hand should be choked up on it. Like, it should be way up here. Now, I don't think the sword moves. It does seem to be pretty fixed in place. If it can move, it's probably completely frozen by the paint. But to my mind, it should be choked up on that. He wouldn't be pulling a sword from that low. Not to do the strike that he normally does. Okay, and then let's see here. Let's come down his legs a little bit here. Check out his feetums. And he's wearing his sandals that they kind of wear. And he does matching leg covers, as it were, or socks. They're not actually socks, but we can call them socks. And you do get kind of a Nestle Crunch Bar piece of ground underneath in there, which I find to be a little weird, but it is what it is. I don't know why Nestle's involved. And let's talk about the lightning effects. Let's zoom out a little here. You have metallic paint over the translucent yellow and a little bit of what I assume is like some type of white and blue airbrushing over different segments of the blue lightning. And it just looks friggin' cool. Now you get a lot of gold paint back here. I'm guessing to help reflect the light a little bit, because some of it is like more translucent from different angles, and some of it is very painted from different angles. By the way, speaking of different angles, you can check out his booty from here. His jacket's flying up. This one, I will say, has some very hard seam lines. This one is sort of forgivable because it is the jacket, but then like right here, I guess technically that's meant to also be the jacket line, but it is a super hard mold line where the pieces have come together. They're just excusing it by being a sleeve. It's a bit much, in my opinion, but, it is what it is. Now, I did do a thing for the members where I attempted to see if, like, the lightning could be, like, lit up a little bit from underneath. Like, this light's not super bright. Hold on, let me, So, if you were here for some of my older statue reviews and display techniques, I did actually I lit up a couple of my Batman statues from underneath. And it actually came out pretty cool. This one, I think it would have to be, like, super focused for it to work, but I think that it technically does. Like, the hard part is, like, because it is actually a clear base. If you look underneath it, look. There's a clear base completely under the mud and everything like that, so it's like, it really does kind of beg to be lit. I don't know how well it's going to come across. Let me look there. It's not bad. It's not really traveling up the lightning as much as I would like it to, but I mean, it's a pretty small like LED light here, so I mean, it is what it is. It does have a cool effect for sure, but I feel like even like backlit, it will probably be pretty neat. So because my shelves will be lit, like having the translucent lightning will be pretty cool. Now I do wonder if that blue or if even the yellow would glow under a black light. And I rarely bring on my black light, but it seems like a cool effect thingy that might react proper. So let me go grab that. Well, not as much as I would have thought. You know, some of it kind of glows. Let's see here. Also, this is not as bright as this used to be. The batteries are definitely low. Also, it is super, super bright. So let's see. Let me turn off the overlights. Well, one is his jacket glows pretty cool. But no, it's not like an automatic, like it's not something that definitely reflects the light like it used to. Well, the original one kind of is. But oh well, let me get these lights back on. Okay, so speaking of the original statue, let's bring it in as comparison. Also, you can see a size difference here. So this is the original one. And right away you can see why I probably prefer the new one. This lightning effect has always bothered me. One, it's very spiky and kind of scary, honestly, and does hurt to sort of move around on a shelf, if I'm honest with you all. Also, the weird puff of smoke back here is a little weird, if we're honest. There's even like nodules here, like they're meant to plug into something. And it's cool to get him actually having done the slash because the sword is already out. Which, by the way, you can see how he chokes up on the handle there, whereas here he is gripping the middle. He hasn't quite grasped it where it should be grabbed. Ah, god damn! Seriously, that's pointy. This less pointy. Like there are points, but it's less less so. And this one also has a much smaller. Not even a much smaller. I think a few of these, like this, is like way out here. So this is probably close to 7 inches wide. This is probably similar depending on how you angle it, but this one does have a bigger footprint. Not to mention, it's a little weird because the base is like this, you know, because sometimes you'd be tempted to like make it straight like this, and it'll sit like that because this position makes sense. This one, it's a little weird because he's like twisted. It's a little strange. I like that this one has the ground, even though it does look like a piece of brownie. But I mean, and actually, look, like depth wise, hugely different. Here, let me, since I'm not framing worth the damn, hugely different depth wise. This takes up a lot of space going that way. And frankly, this doesn't look like lightning. This looks like some jaggedy stuff that's going on that he's jumping away from. This looks like lightning happening around him or from him, in my opinion. Also, there's a weird size thing happening here. This is a significantly bigger sculpt. Like this body is way bigger than this one. Like his head is way bigger. His legs are thicker, even though that's there. The sword is probably even bigger. Like everything in general, his coat. By the way, this is what I was talking about with the coat. Nice even lines and patterns. Kind of randomly done. This looks better in my opinion. Also, this orange is a bit bolder. This is a bit lesser so. But I do like that it's sculpted in up here on the kind of cuff area. It's pretty neat. I don't know if that's always a thing. Definitely isn't over here. Like there's no extra sculpting involved. Also here, he's holding his sheath. Over there, it's actually in his belt. So it's a bit different. Also, the gold and white airbrushing on this lightning versus the just orange tips over here, and then the white base here. It's I will say it looks very Pokemon. It's like, because I joked calling him Pikachu, but he is kind of, in a way, you know, a little bit Pikachu-esque. But yeah, so And this one is a bit taller, for instance, but I will say it is nice to actually be able to see a sword blade because he has a very unique sword blade with the lightning going down the middle. Not quite on the Hamon line, but sort of there at the same time. So, I mean, one way... Oops, knocking stuff over. One way or the other, like, they're both cool, but I like this one more, which is also why I got it. So the question is, from here on out, which one am I going to keep? Because I don't know. Like, do I keep them both and just make the excuse, like, okay, well, multiple arcs, the character's around. So, say this is a later arc, like the... Maybe not the entertainment district. It can't be the entertainment district arc because he wasn't dressed like that for that one. He was dressed up like a servant girl, kind of. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. But it's definitely not like this one either. So, like, these are both somewhere in the first two arcs kind of area after he was introduced. And I guess it could be technically later. I don't know. I don't know what happens after the entertainment district because it hasn't been animated just yet. You know, by the way, definitely recommend the anime. Have not read the manga. Don't know where things go. Well, it doesn't matter. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which one I like. I like the positioning of this one better. I like most of the coloring better on this one. I like the lightning better on this one. And then this one is dangerous in a very literal sense. So, I think this might look really good next to my Inosuke. Because the Inosuke I have is smaller. This is a smaller version of Zenitsu. Unless they come up with like the spider demon or something very specific that he's fighting that will go with the statue, I'm not sure where he's going to fit. Because some of these dioramas are meant to work together. Some of them are just standalone. That's where I have a problem with this particular run of FiguartsZERO statues. If they're meant to be teamed up, show me what they're meant to be teamed up with so that I can make a plan. I talked about this with the Tengenuzui review. So, either way, I like this one. Let me know which one you prefer over these two. I know there's other good ones out there, believe me. I just stick with this line, because it does work. So, either way, go check out the other Demon Slayer statues. Heck, go check out the Naruto statues. I will say the Naruto statues are all really good. And as of filming this review right now, here in the middle of November, the QUICKIE cloaked version of Naruto and his dad have just been re-released on BBTS. So if you want that particular set, it is there. That's a very good set of a very, very good set of statue figures. So either way, I'll catch you guys next time. Remember, as always, keep on nerding.